right, Charlotte. Hey, it's Rusty here from the Deep Shallow Band with Jason Scavone. Charlotte royalty, people. Charlotte royalty. We are playing. We're all jumping on stage at Jack Beagle's October 7th for Rocktoberfest Charlotte. And let's see, we got Jason Scavone, we got Deep Shallow Band, we got Maytone, we got David Childress and the Serpents, and we got Josh Daniels. So we're going to talk to Jason Scavone a little bit here today. I want to throw a little background here. We're at Susu Studio. This is where Jason does all his producing, and he is an absolute brilliant producer. And I'm not saying that just because he made my album sound so damn good, but he's made a ton of albums sound good. So, but he's also an amazing, amazing artist, an amazing singer, an amazing songwriter. So we're going to get into a little bit of that today, man. Thanks for having me over here, dude.
Dude, absolutely. Glad to do it, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. I hadn't been in this studio since we recorded.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies, man. You know.
You've been doing good?
Yeah.
All right.
Staying busy, just... This is the home away from home right here, man.
Yeah.
Just making music and being a parent, living life, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How about you? Doing good?
Man, yeah, same thing.
Nice.
You know, all the same. Playing a little bit, trying to get these gigs going, and you know, promoting this album, having fun with that, and you know, just and working. You know, I mean, you know, we're musicians, but we still got to work. You know, it ain't like we used to be. We had the big time. You know. So you're gonna be donning the stage, man.
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, I'm pumped. You know, we played together, and I didn't. So we'll tell you this story. I'm looking for somebody who's going to produce, and I've got Mike Mitchley who's going to produce, help me produce the album. And he brought up Scavone, so I called Scavone, or texted him talking to him, and he calls me the next day and goes, "Hey man, you know, are you Rusty from Satchelfoot?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, I played with you before." And I was like, "Man, them days are hazy."
For me too.
Yeah. So when you were, was it Noises 10? Is that
right.
what it was?
That's right. Yeah.
And you guys were just coming out and growing. We were kind of petering out with Satchelfoot, I think, at that time.
Yeah, we played with you early on in our career, if you could call it that. Yeah.
Well, it was, man. Yeah, I mean, you were touring, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Know? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did
So
it all.
you did it all. Had a record deal and all that good stuff, man. And now you're mostly it's just you. You got your backing band, but you know, you're producing and writing and you know, doing your thing. So right now, how much are you guys playing out?
Man, it's, you know, I'm playing here and there, you know, once a month, every couple months, that kind of thing. I'm trying to ramp it back up. You know, I put a new record out earlier this year, and it's been a while since I've been the you know, trying to present myself as the artist. I've been in here working on other people's records for the most part. So I'm reacclimating. I'm trying to figure it out, man. But I'm excited to play at your event, and you know, but yeah, we're getting out there as much as we can. We played some local shows. Been, you know, hitting it regionally here and there. That kind of thing. Yeah.
I think it's kind of going to grow out. I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's us. I mean, you know, like we started all new.
Yeah.
You know, like brand, like October, and then all of a sudden we're going to studio.
You guys jumped right in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was ready to. Yeah. I was tired of talking about it.
I know how that is. Yes.
And it was the best time, man. I think. I mean, you know, this time in the studio here was probably, but musically it's the greatest thing I've ever done, and it was because of you guys, right?
Wow. It was a good experience for
everybody. I thought we wrote some good tunes, but came out with some great songs, you know.
They were amazing, yeah. And
came in good and left great.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal. We put the sheen on, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, it was the first time I got to work with Mike Mitchley in that capacity. And we've played a lot of shows together over the years. I've known him for a long time. But we've never collaborated on anything, so I was appreciative that you guys killed it together on that. Yeah, it was really
fun.
Cool.
I mean, I tell you, anybody who's thinking about recording, first of all, he's brilliant, and that was what everybody would say. I'd be like, "What do y'all think about Scavone as a producer? He's brilliant." It was only two words. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. It just kept coming, you know. And I was like, well, I guess I got to get him. You know, I got to figure this out, right? You know, I mean, you know, and bringing Mike, man. I mean, I think the way the two of you worked together and saw things and heard things and presented it to us. You know, you weren't assholes. I mean, you were really super cool. You made it comfortable. But there were changes. I mean, there were things that you felt like should be better. And at the end of the day, it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the idea of working with a producer. It's hard as a band. I think it was good that you guys were still in an early stage as a band, because it's hard once you've become so married to the concept of how the song's structured and just all of the elements that make up a song to relinquish that control to this other person, you know. And but that objective view is it can be really beneficial, man, you know, because we get so attached to hearing things a certain way. I mean, you know, like from the demo stage or even before that when it's just an idea in your head. And you know, my job is to listen to it like the potential fan, the potential listener, you know, and I get invested just like I'm an extra band member, but at the same time I want to first come at it like, what am I get if I heard this song, you know, on a playlist or at a show, how would I respond to it, and what can I do to make it better, or just to bring the best elements of it out, and anything that doesn't capitalize on those best elements, maybe we can trim that, you know, and just kind of chisel away until we make it the best version of itself, you know.
Man, so I tell you, you know, the shit you guys did with our songs, I mean, it was hard though. I mean, you know, I think the hardest part was doing it. It wasn't so much being open to doing it,
right?
You know, because in the night, you know, there was some record labels that came after us in the '90s, but they were shit deals, man. You know, and I didn't want people to own me. And they, you know, and you went through that,
I did,
right?
Yeah,
and that's tough as it is. And then, you know, and I'm lucky I didn't have to go through that. But I always said hindsight 2020. You know, we produced our own record, and I was like, you know, it's good, but I never found it to be great.
Right.
And I was like, the only thing that if there was any regret whatsoever, it'd been like, what if I would have gotten with a really good producer? And I was lucky to get with two great producers and brilliant guys. Wow. And then you hear the album and you're like, wow, man. And, you know, when it all finished and came out, everybody in the band was just like, this is nuts, man.
Yeah. Oh,
and then all of our fans are like, are you sure this is y'all? Y'all did this? Like, Rusty, you wrote this song?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the job.
That's what
man.
you want, right?
Yeah. Just kind of help guide musicians to the best version of themselves, man. And you guys came in. I mean, we didn't have to do as much as you make it out to be. The songs were great from the beginning, and you obviously had put together just A-list players, man. You know, so it was easy on our part, you know, for Mike and I. I feel like sometimes those very subtle changes can feel really big to the band and the artist, you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, wait, we've been doing it this way. Yeah. You know, this is my song and this is how it's done, you know? But, you know, to me, it felt like we're just making little tweaks, you know? And there were a couple moments where we kind of reworked some changes and stuff like that, some chord changes. But yeah, I mean, we had a good starting point.
Yeah, I wish the world could see it happen, you know? I mean, Julie came in here and she left amazed. Yeah. She spent like 3 hours in here and she left here and was like, God, that was insanity awesome. Yeah. You know. It's
a really cool process, man.
Yeah.
That's why people come in here, they don't want to leave. You know, it's like you just it's a creative space and you get to, you know, it's like anything goes and you get to really just tear apart your ideas and your music and try all the new and various, you know, ways to go about things, and you can't beat it, dude.
I was sad to leave, man. It was coming back over here today. It was like I came back home. Yeah. And you know, and I've only been in here one time recording, but it felt like home again. You know, I was like, damn it, this is my place.
Well, one time, one record, but over the course of however long we took, you know, a couple months, I guess it was maybe, but. Not that long, but yeah.
No, I think we're here probably 14 days when it was all said and done, you know, in some capacity.
Right.
You know, and I was here the whole time. Yeah. You know, because, you know, I was here with you at times, of course, the vocals, and then bringing Jackie in for the vocals and all that good stuff. And I mean, we're already writing more, so we're pumped about that. They're already talking about going back in. I was like, can we just let this record? Yeah. You know, we haven't even had a release party yet. They're like, we gotta get it in the studio. You know,
I know that is. Yeah.
Let's ride this thing out. So, October 7th, man. You know, what kind of stuff are you gonna do? You think? I mean,
I'll be with my band. You know, so I play. You know, I got a great band. Actually, you know, the Noises 10. When we play with you guys, that band. My drummer Jonathan Erickson, who played in that band with me, he and I still play together. We've grown up together and played music together, and he's an amazing drummer. And you know, he's just a creative guy. Every song I've ever written, I write it and I bring it to him and we work it together. You know, we work it up, and we've got you know, so he and we've got Ethan Ricks on guitar, Stacy Leeser on bass, and you know, Stacy is you know, Charlotte royalty.
Another Charlotte royalty.
Yeah, he's old school. And
I saw him the other night, man. Yeah, what a great bass player. I mean,
he's a great musician and another guy that, you know, just is a big part of my creative process. And all of the guys. I mean, we're working the record that we're kind of still out there plugging right now. we really worked on it together, man. You know, I wrote the songs, but I brought these guys in. You know, and I did mention Matt Braniff plays keys, but we got all new songs, and we're really trying to get that collaboration. We're trying to really hone in on that because I've functioned as a solo artist for a while, and these guys have such brilliant ideas.
Yeah.
Each one of them, they write songs, they play various instruments, and so we're already back in here working on new stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and just really, and so I'll have those guys with me, and the cool thing about my band is they're like all my best buds, you know.
Yeah.
So there's just like a vibe there that is, you know, I'm lucky at my age to have guys who are willing to put in the time, and you know, we've all got families.
Yeah,
and
we're done with the rock star days. You know, now we're creating music.
Yeah.
You know, and now we want to go play it live and show it to people. We're not just partying.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
absolutely.
It's seasoned is what I call it.
So it's like, not only are they, in my opinion, some of the best musicians in town, but they're the best dudes and they're close friends. So it's like, couldn't ask for anything more.
100% how I feel,
Great.
man. And I like what you're talking about a drum. You know, a lot of people don't think about drummers being creative, but the good ones are.
They are.
You know, and the good ones, you know, I mean, Trey will be like, Chip, you think you can play somewhere else on the neck there because, you know, you and Rusty are playing the same thing or whatever. Yeah. And I just think that's amazing to have that kind of collaboration from a drummer. Instead of just sitting back there, I'm just going to play a beat.
Well, to me, a good drummer is, you know, good drummers listen. You know, they're the foundation of the song.
Yeah.
And so when I play with a good drummer because they're observing, and, you know, nothing against guitar players, you know, but like, I'm a guitar player, you know, sometimes we're like looking down, we're focused on, people are thinking about tone and the changes and everything. And not that drummers don't have to, I mean, Jonathan is an amazing drummer. He's doing a lot of technical stuff, but he approaches songs like, what's the simplest thing I can do to serve the song?
Yeah.
And so when he's doing that, he's listening to what everybody else is doing, and he's always got ideas about how we can, you know, we can formulate our parts around that. And, you know, I'm a very drum-centric producer and musician. To me, drums are the, like, in a recording too, sonically, they're one of the most important elements of a song. Yeah. And if you don't have a drummer with great time and great tone and, you know, with a cool groove, then what do you got?
The band sucks, right? I mean, if people have no idea what that means, you know, and it's like, you see those cartoons where the drummers are doing all this stuff, and it's like fired, and then the guys are just sitting there doing that, you know, like hired. You know, and it's hard to get that person to sit back and play that groove. And like you said, listen, that was always my thing is, you know, I took drum lessons for 2 years with Donnie Marshall because I was tired of telling drummers how to play my songs. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go learn how to play drums my damn self.
Yeah.
And then if I got to sit down with a kid, I will. But drums have always been my thing. You know, as I was telling Josh, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I played in the middle school band as drums. And then, I don't know, it's just always been all my favorite musicians were drummers, and all the people that's the first thing I hear when I hear music is the drummer. If the drummer's not good, I don't want to hear a song. Yeah. I mean, if you know, I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. You know, if they're too busy or whatever. And you can have a busy drummer. You know, Carter Beauford's kind of busy, but, you know, it fits that band. But if you stood Carter Beauford playing like that and the Black Crowes, it would sound like shit.
Yeah, it's all about the song. You know, it's like what serves the song, and it depends on the style of the music, and it depends on, you know, what kind of exploration you're doing, or is it a pop song, you know, it's like, I love players that are technical and can do impressive things, you know, but when we're playing songs, play the song. And when what's cool is when they take little moments, these little ornamental, you know, like just just show what you can do for a second. Yeah. But then get back into it.
And I've got attention deficit disorder, so I hear everything. Yeah. Like I'm a squirrel, you know. I'm chasing squirrels. Right. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Yeah. Sometimes it messes me up because I get excited. Right. You know. but it's like I can hear it, you know. You can just hear that little thing. And we were doing an acoustic. So we were doing an acoustic show of the album, and you know, Jackie now is in the band. You know, he brought her in to sing, and she's amazing. And thank you for working with her like you did, because you really brought, you know, some really seriousness out of her, man. She kills it. But in the song "Friend," where Trey comes in, you know, I was watching the video. Mark videoed us, and I was watching it, and we got to that part. Jackie was like, you know, just air drum it. Yeah. It was there, you know. And it was like right. You had to do it, and we always laugh because that drum part just it sticks to everybody. And like I'll be playing and I'll say, to,
Oh, yeah.
I have to do it. I have to hear it.
Yeah. It's about like it's about where he comes in.
Yeah.
It's like the drums enter in a place you wouldn't expect him
Right.
to, and that's what makes it special.
And you held him. First of all, you held him out forever, and then you were like, and just one more measure, and then come in.
Yep, absolutely.
And it was perfect, and it just But just watching Jackie do that, I was like, that's But that's those little pieces that you hear that you want to you want to do. So you haven't said anything about what the name of your album is. Tell these people what your album is.
So the album's called Catastrophic Dreams. Obviously, it's a heavy one. Not to be a downer. Yeah, I wrote this. So I worked on this album for a really long time. I started writing some of these songs like in 2019.
Wow.
Actually, there's one song that I wrote years and years ago that I included. It's the last song on the album. But most of them I wrote during like the COVID time. Luckily, working here at the studio, I was able to do a lot of remote work. I can come in here and be by myself. But there were a lot of bands and artists that just weren't comfortable coming in. So kids were out of school. I was at home writing songs, and it was, a very introspective. It is a very introspective record because that's what was happening. I was like looking around at the world and like, man, shit's crazy right now. And I'm
and
at a point, and at a point in my life where I'm getting into my 40s and I'm a parent to young children and I make a living in the music business. And I was like,
how shut down?
Right. How expendable is this? Right. How expendable am I? And so I had a lot of these questions and started to, and for me, when I start having those moments in life, the best way for me to explore the answers or to find the answers is music. And so
I think what we found is that it wasn't expendable.
It wasn't. No, we found the exact opposite.
We found that we needed it more than anything.
Yeah, because that's
when everybody started streaming.
Yeah.
And I know when we would do any Facebook Live, there would be thousands of people watching us. Yeah. Thousands.
Well, for the first time in forever, people had time on their hands. And it's like when we get into our 30s, 40s, 50s, these people who are obsessed with music start to turn away, or art in general. Sometimes life gets so busy, people turn away from those things because they don't have time. How do I fit that into my schedule? Yeah. And now it's like, I could go and just listen. I could sit. We could cook dinner together. You and your wife, and just like
watch
listen
live
to
it.
Yeah,
watch it live
live
on
stream.
The,
listen to an album. I had a buddy, the guy that used to manage my old band. That was who's a very busy guy. He's just travels all over the world for business, but he had this time when he was listening to albums, vinyl. He has a really nice vinyl collection, and every week he would do this long, just like a review of the album, but tying it into his personal life and like I heard this album in 1994 when I was this age, and here's how it affected me, and had all these personal stories, and I'm like, he basically started a blog over this period.
That's a good idea, man.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. Every week I'm like checking in, like, what album is he gonna do now? But yeah, so I think people realized that whatever the medium was, they could, whether it's film or visual art or music, people were turning to that, and live streaming was huge. So for me, that was like, I came in here and I made a record. I was writing songs. I produced the record myself. As much as I produce and engineer other people's music, and I've always collaborated with other producers on my own music, because I understand the value of it, and I wanted to have that objective ear. But also, I think there's a part of me that was just always a little nervous, like, am I going to do my song justice the way I do other people? It's a lot of trust I have to put in myself, and it's like all the onus is on me. But I was like, I'm going to do this record myself. And so I did. I came in here, and there were days I brought my son in here, and he would engineer for me. He'd be hitting record while I'm out here checking keys or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. And we finished the record. It took me a couple years, a little over 2 years to finish the record, and I mixed it with Tom Schick at Jeff Tweedy's studio in Chicago. So I did bring in another person to help with that part of the process. Bob Ludwig mastered it, which was like a dream, man.
Right.
Tom introduced me to Bob, who just retired, I heard. So I was like, I got in.
In right at the end. Yeah.
Got a record mastered by Bob Ludwig before he retired. And a lot of cool cats played on it, man. Obviously my band, but I wanted to collaborate with people that I couldn't get in the same room with. So my friend Carly Tate from Asheville, North Carolina, she sang some background vocals. My sister sang on a song. Jackson Smith, Patti Smith's son, played guitar on like half the record. Peter Gray played on some of the record, another great local musician in town, friend of mine.
Dropping names.
Yeah, Michael Flynn from the band Slow Runner, who also is now a solo artist. He sang on it. And it was just, I mean, I had some guys from MPG Horns play on it. I had the Charlotte Symphony do the first time I ever did a string arrangement for myself. You know, so it was just like, I'm going to just throw it all out.
Everything I can. Yeah,
and,
man.
So it was,
so it's like a dream album.
It was a dream album, man. And it's like, then it's done, and I'm like, now what do I do? Yeah.
You go promote it, right?
Right.
I mean, the music industry's changed, and from what I'm seeing, back in the day, we would write an album and then we would tour to support the album and try to get people to buy the album.
Yeah.
Now we're writing the album to get people to come to the shows.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, more, because of that, and after people being pinned up, I am seeing a lot more people coming to shows,
Yeah.
Not, and I think like you said, or like we both said, we realize that music isn't expendable and we need it more than ever.
We do.
And I think I'm watching fans come out to see more original music, and that's, to me, that's a big deal. I've always been a writer. And I love playing covers, but I never wanted to be just a cover guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to always play, but, thinking about songs, like you said, what this guy wrote, I mean, how many songs do you hear you can remember what it smelled like?
Right.
At the time that you heard it for the first time or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it goes back that deep,
yeah.
man. It's total, like going up the hill to go to college for the first time. I had Stevie Winwood in, bring me a higher love.
That song.
And every time it comes back, I remember driving that damn '74 Camaro
Yeah.
up that mountain, to hear, just listening to that, and I remember the smell and everything.
Oh yeah, that's a special song for me. When you just hearing you sing it, I get like there's a feeling. There's not a word that I have for this feeling, but I have a memory. And my dad he mounted these speakers in the garage, just like made some shelves and just hung these speakers in the garage. You wash the car on a Saturday and just blast music. And Steve Winwood, man, was like always out there. I'd be out like riding my bike in the cul-de-sac or something. And my dad be shirtless, just like washing the car, doing work. Higher Love playing. And when I hear that song, man, I go straight back.
Straight back to it. Yeah,
that's such a.
I mean, as soon as the percussion's clicking.
Oh yeah.
It's just like you know it immediately.
Yep.
You don't even have to wait for his voice before you know what it's at, man. Well, man, I'm pumped about you coming out and playing. I'm glad we're going to get to play again, and I hope we get to play more and more as time goes on, man. Because I'm starting to try to get some gigs booked and whatnot, and love playing. All the guys in your band. Well, I know Jonathan, I know Stacy well, and just and all. I mean, you of course. I guess you pretty much, you didn't know Chip. Well, you knew Chip from, the only one you didn't know was Mike or Jackie. Those are the only two, but everybody else you kind of knew. And it's sort of cool to me that this Charlotte musician scene, we're all kind of intertwined in some way. Yeah. And we came down from Boone, but, Chip was from the Salisbury area. But coming back to Charlotte or moving into the Charlotte area. When I first got here, it wasn't as cool as it is now. And, we talked about that with Josh Daniels. That it's just in the last 15 years, it's got a really good vibe. And there's a lot of really good music, a lot of good artists.
There are.
Not just players. Really good artists out there playing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because there have been. I mean, there've always been great artists, but like the city's grown so much now. Yeah. There's a lot of young talent. I see it. I mean, we've got so many talented. Bands and solo artists that I'm discovering, and it's hard to keep up with all of it, but it's great, hopefully
watching it grow, that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all a part of it. We're the old guard.
Yeah.
I'm the old ass of them all.
I'm not far.
You're not going to catch me though, unless I die. So I guess you got me. I'm trying to hang on for a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah.
I need this album to kick on, man. But all right, guys, man, listen, I'm going to let this thing go. Thank you, bro, for Jason Scavone, everybody. I mean, probably the best producer around. I know was wonderful for me to work with. I highly recommend him. Susu Studio, which you're watching us sit in right now, is unbelievable. The show's going to be great. Again, it's October 7th, Jack Beagles. It's for Make-A-Wish Foundation. All the money is going there. All the bands have pretty much donated their time to help Make-A-Wish. What a great cause Make-A-Wish is as well. So excited about doing that. And go through the lineup one more time. We've got Jason Scavone. We've got Josh Daniels. We got David Childress and the Serpents. We got Maytone and the Deep Shallow Band, man. I think it's going to be a great show. It's going to be an awesome day. It's free. Come on in. If you want to donate, we'll have something for you to click above. But otherwise, just come and enjoy the show and support it.
Sounds great, man. Looking forward to it, brother.
Hey, you going to jam with me and Josh?
Hell
on
yeah,
his
I'm
new
gonna do it with
song.
you guys.
All right,
Yeah.
man. All right, so we're gonna do Melody, man. So it's coming out. Check us out. See you.
Empty page staring at me. What if that well's running dry? Another day keeps slipping away. Still I got much on my mind. Right on the tip of my tongue it waits, just like a drum beating in vain. This one could really carry me away. Well, melody, harmony, melody is gonna save me. Melody is remedy. Melody is gonna save me. It's gonna save me. How did we get to be out to sea with no anchor? I need you, you need me, to keep each other out of danger. But something feels different this time round. It's such a sweet and familiar sound, better than anything that I've ever found. Well, melody, harmony, melody is gonna save me. Melody is the remedy. Melody is gonna save me. It's gonna save me. But something feels different this time around. It's such a sweet and familiar sound, better than anything that I've ever found. Well, melody, harmony, melody is gonna save me. Melody is remedy. Melody is gonna save me. It's gonna save me. Melody, harmony, melody is gonna save me. Melody is remedy. Melody is gonna save me. It's gonna save me.
These motherfuckers scared to smile. I smile, everybody's all like, "Soon get my rock star face on."